If you achieved the perfect credit score right now, what would you do with it? How would you allow it to change your life? What's considered the perfect credit score? Can you accomplish the perfect credit score without incurring a bunch of debt? And once you achieve that perfect credit score, what can you do with it to impact your life and possibly even future generations? We're going to cover that in this video. As you can see on the thumbnail, I had a personal comment left by one of my pioneers exclaiming that he had achieved pretty much the ideal credit score, and he wanted some insights on what he could do with it now that he's achieved it, and also some insights on what I would do with it if I achieved it at this time. So I want to cover and dive into that. The first thing I'm going to do is give off a rapid fire of quick benefits of having great credit. I mean, the kind of stuff that you could pretty much Google or look up. I took some notes as well. And I'm going to give you my actual personal/professional thoughts and perspectives on what you could be doing with great credit once you finally achieve it. And I'm going to give it to you from the perspective of somebody who's really conservative that may not want to get into a ton of debt, but still wants to benefit and utilize and leverage their credit to advance their finances. And I'm going to also give it to you if you're a bit more of a risk taker, if you're a real trailblazer, a pioneer, an entrepreneur, what you could be doing with the perfect credit score. So stick around in this video. There's going to be a ton of value in it. And I'm going to make sure that I leave room for you to ask any questions down in the comment section on either how to achieve the perfect credit score or what you could be doing with it if you have great credit right now. So those of you who may not be familiar, I'm JP, the architect and pioneer of Blueprint for Prosperity Network. I'm a relationship banker, business banker by trade. I have over 13 years in financial services industry. And the core foundation of this channel is to help you master relationship banking, help you maximize your borrowing capacity, because those two combined can help you customize your blueprint for prosperity. So getting into some of those rapid fire topics or benefits around the topic of a perfect credit score. The first thing is the obvious one: lower interest rates on credit cards and loans. And that's going to be tied to the notes that I have, which is cost of capital. Better chance of credit card and loan approvals. More negotiating power. Better chance of overall approvals for higher borrowing limits. That's a big one. Easier approval by landlords. Better car insurance rates. Cell phone contracts without a security deposit. I'm going to throw in other utilities like energy bills, etc., water bills. Your opportunity to not tie up your capital in deposits when you're looking to get basic everyday services like communication, energy, water. So specific notes that I took, again, rapid fire, we'll spit these out pretty quick. Benefits of great credit: going to be more access, more options, more control, cost of capital, more and a broader variety of financial resources. That's a huge one. Refi old debts. We'll get into that in a minute. That's one of the biggest things you can do once you have a great credit score. Save more of your cash and put in more work while using credit strategically. Speed. I talk about that all the time. Literally, that's like one of the founding pillars of good use of good credit. Speed. And I'll get into that in a little bit later in the video as well. Scale. Multiply your growth. Generational impact. The ability to pass credit down to others and or the assets you achieve or acquire through great credit down to other people. Minimize the loss of opportunity costs. You can keep money in motion, which is the name of the game on this channel. If you guys have watched any of my content, you know I'm constantly talking about staying in motion. That includes your money, very much so. So real quick, a breakdown on the origins of credit as we know it today in our financial system. Not in its complete origin, because it probably goes back to the beginning of humanity, but in the concept of a capitalistic society today in the financial world. The origins of credit and the reason our entire financial system switched over to a credit-based system was leverage, expansion, and growth. A lot of people don't understand that, and that's why they suck at credit, and a lot of people are terrified of credit. And you have people who have built entire careers off of demonizing credit and encouraging people to stay away from it. Dave Ramsey to the world, etc. Credit was designed for expansion. Our entire financial system got off of the gold standard in part due to the ability to multiply and expand growth and provide expansion to various projects that were needed to advance the country and advance society and advance power projection. That same thing applies here on your personal finances. the only true core foundation to a great credit score and building credit is really growth and expansion. If you're looking to stay stagnant, if you're looking to stay in the same comfortable place, if you want to just live off cash, if you want to practice frugality, those type of things, you really don't need credit for the most part. Now, there's things like car insurance. We talked about, having to be forced to be putting down deposits on various utilities. There's things of that nature. When you start talking about broader scale financial activity, borrowing money for any given reason, if you're somebody who plans to live off cash, live a really frugal lifestyle, not function beyond your means, if you will, then you really don't need credit, or you can function on a base level of credit just to keep it from, affecting your current cash supply. Again, like getting access to bank accounts, not putting down money on utilities, things of that nature, better rates on insurance. Aside from that, the only true function and true purpose of credit is leverage for growth and expansion. Every single dollar in circulation in our economy is born out of debt, it's out of credit. It's the intent of expansion. It allows basically for us to take money or, prosperity out of the future for today's activity, to create business opportunities and to create economic opportunities and tangible value out of thin air. Essentially, it sounds kind of crazy, but at the end of the day, no dollar that is in existence today is in existence for any other origin than debt, than credit. Everything is borrowed into existence and put into the economy to create real world value, real infrastructure projects, real economic growth, goods and services. All of these things, everything we've accomplished in this country and the broader world around us has been accomplished at scale and speed significantly faster than it would have come to us, and at a much broader base than it would have come to us if we were just surviving off of what actual cash or actual money really existed. It's too slow, it's too stagnant, and it's finite at that rate. The gold standard was finite. You couldn't spend beyond a certain means because there was only so much gold, which is what made it prudent. It's what made it stable. And I get the debt crisis that we have today, but nobody really talks about the amazing benefits that have come from credit. If you are somebody who uses Amazon, Walmart, if you use any major Apple, any major corporation that you are benefiting from the goods or services that they provided, hell, even the United States government and the infrastructure projects that we have, the infrastructure around us, even though it's not the best, it's probably not as good as it should be, but it is well above the majority of the rest of the world. And that is due to the advent and the innovation of credit, of leverage, of debt. The ability to be able to bring money into the future now that's not even really there and allow it to transact for real tangible value. So I'm gonna digress from that for a second. That is the power of credit in your personal finances and on your personal journey to level up your net worth and possibly create generational wealth for yourself and your loved ones. It's expansion, it's growth. It's your ability to be able to access and leverage other people's money or money that would not have even normally been there in the economic system and put it towards tangible value and growth. So starting on a conservative side of this conversation, what could you be doing if you're somebody who doesn't really believe in, the more risk-taking, calculated risk, expansionist mindset? If you're somebody who's like, what can I do on a base level to improve my personal finances right here on the ground without having to really get into much or any debt at all? The first thing before I answer that question I'm going to explain is you can absolutely build a phenomenal credit score without going into debt. For context, a great credit score is anything 760 to 780 and above. 760 to 780, depending on what you're going to use it for, is the equivalent of an 850 when it comes to borrowing capacity, when it comes to rates and terms on a majority of products. 760 to 780 is as good as a 820, 830, 840, 850. Pretty much just flexing at the 800 and above for the most part. 760, 780 is all the same. You're going to get prime rates on mortgages, prime rates on auto loans, prime rates on credit cards, personal loans, real estate, you name it. You're going to get the best rates and terms with that credit score. Credit profile is essential. You can get a 760, 780, 800 credit score with just 2 or 3 trade lines on your account, on your credit report rather, and still get denied for a bunch of stuff. You need depth on your credit profile. I also talk about this at length on this channel. You need a credit profile is essential. Your score is almost not as important in some ways as the profile. You can have a 720, 740 and an extremely dense credit profile and get approved for way more than somebody with a 780, 800 that has 2 or 3 trade lines on their account, on their profile. So I want to put context on that. I probably should have even said that earlier in the video, but hopefully most of my pioneers with real attention spans are still paying attention. You are absolutely capable of building a 760, 780, 800 FICO score, credit score, without going into debt. I've covered video after video on that. If you need me to re-dive into that topic, just drop it in the description down below and I'll be happy to revisit that with you. I'm not going to get into that because this video will get too long. But you can absolutely build a phenomenal credit score and profile without touching debt for the most part. So that aside, 760 to 780. Now you know you can build that amazing credit score and profile without debt and what that threshold looks like, 760, 780 and above. The next thing is you can absolutely control the cost of insurance rates, minimize deposits you put down, and refinance old debts that you may have taken out or been exposed to prior to that great credit score. If you have any credit cards that you got earlier in your journey, call them up and revisit the interest rate, have them reevaluate the interest rate. Credit card companies will do this without pulling your credit again necessarily. They'll reevaluate your relationship and maybe soft pull your credit at the most. But typically you can get them to reevaluate, especially if the interest rates in the economy are dropping, your interest rates on those cards. Any personal loans, student loans, auto loans, any of these different debts you may have been exposed to when your credit score was not that great, revisit them now that your credit score is great. Better insurance rates, revisit that, shop around. If you don't have the best rates right now and your current insurance company on your car loans, home insurance, life insurance to some extent, whatever the case may be, if your current company doesn't want to reevaluate those rates, shop somewhere else that will reevaluate you in today's, your current financial situation, your great credit score today, and shop around and take whoever's going to treat you the best or provide you the best rates and terms in that arena. Those are the major things you can do if you plan on staying conservative and avoiding debt to still benefit from a great credit score. There's just a handful of immediate things you can do that will have tremendous benefit. You will also have more access to banking relationships, better rates and terms in that arena, or better products and services in the banking world. Those are just a handful of benefits. Now, the more exciting part of this, if you're somebody who actually has balls, if you actually have courage, if you actually have good risk management, if you are somebody that is strategic and takes good calculated risks, not a gambler, but somebody that can take a real, end goal of like building a real empire in business or in real estate and can take strategic plans to take steps towards that strategically and effectively while taking managed risk, then there's a whole nother world that opens up once you have a 760, 780 plus FICO score and a complementary credit profile to go along with it. What would I do? What could you be doing? If you don't own a home, look into strategically buying a primary residence based on your situation. You need to be somewhere 5-7 years or more for it to make sense. But that's just a base level. Again, to my pioneer who actually asked this question, hopefully you're catching this video and sticking it out. I don't know your particular situation, but if you don't own a home already, that needs to be something that you're working towards if you're going to be there 5 to 7 years or more. And I'm going to be covering a lot of content in the moderately near future on how to strategically buy a home and actually make it an asset, because it is not at its base level. You do have to be very strategic about it, but you can absolutely turn your primary residence into an asset. That is something you need to be working on doing. The next thing you need to do, if you don't have a significant baseline, is using that credit score to expand your banking relationships, get access to quality credit cards, and use that as a baseline to get access to other more effective and enhancing forms of capital. I'm going to get into what that means in plain English in a second, but expand your banking relationships. Great credit will open a door with banks like nothing else other than cash. You need to use this to open up your availability of pre-approvals and additional banking resources and products using your great credit with your banking relationships and new banking relationships. Next thing you can be doing, setting this in a baseline for you. Owning a home strategically growing your banking relationships. Access to baseline capital like good quality credit cards at high limits. That will open you up to the real world opportunities you have. which is going to be number one, expanding that to people you love. You can put your kids on those great credit cards with those high limits. You can put your loved ones, your spouse, your mates, your partners. You can put, business partners on and expand their credit and profile and access to capital. You can help people grow once you've done these things. You can pass some of this great credit along to other people and help them build the same thing. That's your ability to build a legacy. The next thing you need to be doing for your own pockets, your own net worth, get into business, get into real estate. Your great credit can kick the door down to great access to capital that can help you start franchise opportunities like vending machines and other franchise opportunities that could be great in your community and your market. Organic business opportunities. You may have a skill set, talent, good, or service that you can provide to your community or the broader community around the country or maybe even the globe off of your great credit. And now you have the credit and the credit profile to access the capital that allowed you to launch out into a broader market. I absolutely 1000% encourage this. If you are looking to grow a real legacy, great net worth, real deep pockets, real access to major financial resources, and really become a pioneer for your family and the generations around you, get into business, franchise opportunity or organic. You now have the credit score and the credit profile to do that. Take on risk. Borrow money that you may not immediately get the cash back for if you know that you have a real skill set, real service or good that you can provide that may take weeks, maybe even months to get out in the marketplace, maybe even a few years. Take on that risk. That is the point of your credit score. As I alluded to and broke down for the overall economy we're in, businesses have borrowed money without that money coming back or being positive on their balance sheet for years. Ubers, Apples, the greatest companies that are in existence right now, borrow money months to years in advance of when they be able to effectively pay it back and become cash flow positive and balance sheet positive, knowing that they had a product or a service that was going to change the world and change the marketplace. You have to do that on your level. You have to take risk. Be willing to borrow money that may take months to years. Manage it strategically. Make sure that you effectively have a plan. And again, I can cover videos or work with you one-to-one to help you figure out how to do that in real life. But that is what you want to do. The next thing, get into real estate. Not necessarily as much for income purposes, unless you're going to fix and flip, but for tax benefits, equity growth position, and net worth, which is a whole nother conversation. I have so much content to put out that I can't even get out in enough time, because net worth is a whole nother power play on expanding your access to cash flow and relationships. You get around a whole nother bracket of people. But I'm going to digress on it. Get into real estate. Not just as a primary resident, get into it for as an investor and as a business owner, as an operator. Get into it for net worth, tax benefits, and relationship building. Get into rental properties, get into short and long-term rental, mid-term rentals, get into multifamily, get into self-storage, get into some kind of real estate niche that you feel comfortable with, that resonates and makes sense for you, that you can scale. You have the credit and the credit profile to do that now. Hopefully you have the other complementary factors you need, like income and job stability. Again, I can only cover so much in this video, but I want you to have the idea, lay the foundation for you. Grow your position, take on risk effectively that will catapult and expand your net worth and financial position in the future. I'm gonna pause and pretty much stop this video here and let you digest what I've covered in this video so far. Comment down below. Let me know what questions you have around what I've covered. Let me know where you are and what you would exercise on based on what I've covered, what bucket or bracket you fall into. Let me know what questions you have and how I can further elaborate for you in future videos. As you can see, if you've been on this channel for any length of time, I am unique on YouTube because I am legitimate. I do this not only in my personal life, but I do this as a profession. And I will actually respond to you in my videos. I will cover your comments in my videos. Those of you who have been pioneers for a while, or if you're new, I will tell you something about me. I see tremendous value in my audience, my viewers, and I see tremendous value in your questions. You're the whole reason I am putting this content out. There's nothing stopping me from gatekeeping this information and focusing on my own expansion. I'm not even making money yet from this YouTube channel, and I still have over 600 videos out. That should tell you something. And a lot of them are comment-driven videos. I have a ton of my own idea, but they're comment driven. So drop your comments down below. Let me know what questions you have. Let me know what I can expand upon for you. Let me know how I can give greater context. And if you want, I can work with you one-to-one to help you customize your blueprint for prosperity. If the content on this video doesn't tell you that I can really drive your personal financial growth, I don't know what will. Comment down below. Other than that, to all my pioneers, welcome back. To my new viewers, welcome in. I want you to comment, like, share, subscribe. There's other ways to support the channel down below. You can leave supers, you can leave super thanks. Support this channel, invest in this channel so this channel continues to support and reinvest back into you. Other than that, I want you to get in the description down below. Follow me on Instagram. We're branching out slowly but surely on other platforms so we can grow our community and our community of pioneers, and we can share our successes, our lessons learned, tactics and strategies with each other so we can inspire and grow together, inspire each other and grow together. Other than that, as always, I want each and every one of you to stay focused, stay in motion. I'll see y'all soon.